Welcome to the rosanamod Variety Pod. This is your vessel and host, Rosana Moduño, and here we go. Hello friends, this is Rosana Moduño. Thank you. Aw, you guys missed me. You did? It's been 2 weeks almost. Oh my gosh, it's so hard. Let me tell you what, life happens. I'll leave it at that. I had to take a couple weeks off, and we will get into it another time. Right now, this is episode 191, and today it's all about hair color, and I know that I have another episode out there. It will be below the show notes in a link, okay? So I have 10 tips for you and some extras. You're actually going to get a few extra tips on this. So let's begin. Things that I've done because I've just changed my hair color again. It's still red, but it's not as bright as you see it in the picture. And it's a little deeper, richer looking. And what happened was it was an accident that I had on my hair. I don't know why I would do this, but I was lazy and I didn't want to go to the store, and I had like 3 tubes of hair color. Usually it takes 2 tubes of hair color. When I say tubes, it's because I buy at Sally's. If you don't want to mess with the developer and mixer, because that's what you have to do, they sell you the tube of color, and then you have to buy the developer, which is that little white cream that is in the box that you buy. You have to buy that and mix it in a bowl with a brush. So you have to get all that stuff in the gloves. You know, you'd have to get that on your own, but it's not expensive. It still works out almost the same as you would buying the box at the store, except the hair color brand, which is Ion, is what I use, is a lot better quality than the kind you find at the store. But there are good ones out there. Now, I've used all of them. I can tell you all of them. I can go through my reviews. We'll do that on another episode, my reviews of hair colors. Hair color brands. I don't want to put anybody down or anything, you know. But the truth is, with the red, I noticed one big deal. If you're a redhead and you've noticed that your hair color keeps fading all the time and you have to keep redoing it, the secret is stop using the L'Oreal High Color. Hello? Why does everybody use that? It's like the black box that says High Color on it. It's really strong and bright when you first do it and you love it. And then a couple of washes later, it's completely gone. I don't know what that is. I had a half of that left. I believe it was copper. Definitely copper. It was like bright copper, really orange coming out of the bottle. You know it's going to be bright on your hair if it already comes out of the tube that color. Because usually the tubes, you know, when you mix color, it comes out white. And then you mix it with the developer, and then little by little the hair color starts changing in the bowl. That's when you know it's going to last longer. But if it already comes out orange, it's like, you're done, right? So that's the first clue. Well, I had half of that left, and I usually use 2 tubes, like I said. So I had 1 tube of Ion, which was, I think, red, just regular red, and then another tube of copper. And I mixed those 2 together, but being how I am, I wanted to finish the half a tube of L'Oreal High Color, so I mixed it in with these 2. What a difference it made. Wow, not good. My hair, well, it might have a lot to do with the fact that I had to go to the emergency room for a family member. So I left it on my head for about 5 hours instead of the normal 45 minutes or 1 hour max. Okay, that might have made a difference. But the thing is I took that cap off my head, and it was like bright orange Bozo the Clown. It was bright orange. I don't know what happened. It was why did it get... Now I used the developer volume number 30. It's high lift. So that brings me segues, which I love that word segue, by the way, segues into number 1 tip for you. Developer. The higher the number, the higher the lift. So just remember that. What does lift mean, Roseanne? I don't know what you mean. Okay. Whenever you mix a hair color with the developer is what's going to lift the colors that you already have on your head. Okay, so that means if it's natural, if you have natural hair color, you don't have to use a 30 or a 40 because it's going to take out all of your hair color and leave it so that color that you deposit into your color is going to be like a sponge and it's going to grab that color. It might be too strong. It might come out too bright. So if you have dyed your hair and you have a few colors in there, and now you want to try a different color or whatever, then you would use a higher volume, like a 30 or a 40, because that's going to lift all of the previous colors that you put in there, take that off, kind of like an eraser. Look at it that way. It's going to erase all those colors and then deposit the color in so you'll have the color you want. So you really don't want to use a 10 if you've already got hair dye in your hair. And you don't really want to use a 20 unless you don't want it to lift that much. Like let's say you have a dark brown and you're trying to go light brown. You don't want it too light, then you would use a 20. But if you want it lighter, then you would use a 30 or a 40. See what I mean? Okay, it's that simple. It's really easy. Don't make it harder than it has to be. If you're not sure, buy small bottles and experiment like I do. That's how I did it. I haven't been to a hair salonist I can't remember. In my entire life, I think I've been to a hair salon like maybe 5 times. Literally 5 times. Because I go in with a recorder, I start talking to them. I mean, it sounds weird. It sounds like I'm Project Veritas. I have my recorder on me, and I'm just going to record everything that you say. What are you using? What number is that? What color is that? What's the name of that color? What are you mixing it with? What kind of a volume number is that? Oh, okay. So you're mixing it with that. Okay. And how long do you leave it on? Then you pay attention to how long you leave it on. You put all that in, and then you go home and you do exactly what they did, and you don't have to go back. I mean, I'm not trying to take away customers from hair salonists. I'm just trying to help the consumer save money because I'm a consumer advocate, I would like to say. So me as a consumer, I want to save money, especially now, when I'm spending so much on gas. Let's not go there. Anyway, so number 2 is, I'm going to say L'Oreal tends to be darker than other brands. Now, I've used other brands, so I can tell you that if you're going to use a brown L'Oreal and a brown, Clairol or Revlon or something, the L'Oreal for some reason is never going to come out the same color as the others. It's always a little bit on the dark side. So I remember that when I use it. That's why I didn't want to use that L'Oreal high color in the black box for the copper because it was fire red. I mean, it was just so bright. I don't know what I was thinking. Because it was only half a tube. I figured it wasn't really going to show, but it really did. Number 3 is you can mix brands together. You don't have to mix only L'Oreals with L'Oreals. You can do a L'Oreal and a Revlon. If you stay away from L'Oreal, then you can mix Revlon and Clairol. You can mix Garnier and Clairol and Revlon together. I've done that. It's basically the same thing. And if you don't believe me, look at the ingredients on each box and compare. It's the same thing. It's just brands. It's like you buying rice. Rice is the same, basically. Different brands. So why can't you do it with hair color? Just make sure that the hair color is what it is what you want. That's all. And if you're going by a box, I'm just going by those people who want to shop that way, not going to Sally's for their tubes. It's the same thing. I've mixed Ion with whatever else there is, and I just happen to like Ion. It lasts longer. The red will stick to your hair longer than the high color. It just will. That was number 4, which is Ion is better, in my opinion. It's just better. Number 5 is highlights. If you have highlights in your hair and you're trying to cover your highlights, please remember that your highlights are not going to come out the same at the end result as the colors in your hair that's not highlighted. Why? Because your highlighted hair is lighter, okay? So if you take a white piece of paper and you paint, a highlighter, an actual highlighter marker on the white piece of paper, it's going to come out bright yellow, right? All right, well, if you take a light brown piece of paper and you take that highlighter and you put it on, what color is it going to show? Is it going to be the same as the bright white? No, it's not. Come on. This is common sense. And I've actually talked to people that really have asked me these questions. I don't mind you asking me, but it's weird how you don't know that. The highlighter, the highlights in your hair is basically dead hair, because peroxide bleach strips the color from your hair. It removes the pigment, which means it kills your hair. So highlighted hair is dead hair, just like gray hair is dead hair. Okay? The difference between the gray and the highlighted hair, though, is that the gray really has no pigment at all. It's like an empty, follicle, completely dead. So it's going to be more resistant to hair color. And that's why sometimes when you color your hair, your gray still shows underneath. You have to make sure that you read the instructions specifically for gray hair, because I'm not into the scientific part of that. I'm not really sure, so I can't say. But I do know that gray hair is more resistant. So just look for something that says that it's good for gray hair, if you have a lot of it. Number 6 is black is always harder to remove than any other color. Don't dye your hair black. If you want darker hair, if you don't, go by your eyebrows. That's what I do. Not so much the skin too, but do you have really thin, light color eyebrows? Don't dye your hair black unless you intend to color your eyebrows black also. If you have dark eyebrows and you want to do your hair black, well then maybe, that would look okay. You see? Your skin too. Are you very pale and fair and black eyebrows and you want to do black hair? That's fine. Are you very pale and fair and you have pale and fair eyebrows and you want to do your hair black? It's going to look weird. The contrast is going to be not a good one. If you want to go dark, just go brown. Start off slow. And always, this is my clue, if you have blonde hair or light colored hair and you want to go darker, always choose a color that's 1 or 2 shades lighter than what you're looking for. Because your blonde hair is going to soak up any color that you put in it, even red. Like if you want to have like a copper red in your blonde. So you have to be very careful, And that's another clue. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Number 7, you cannot lighten your hair unless you use peroxide or developer that's in there. You can't just grab a color if you have black hair and think you're going to go blonde in one sitting. It's not going to happen. It's going to turn different shades of orange and stuff if you have different colors in there, especially if it's not natural. Obviously, if it's virgin hair, which they call virgin is because you've never dyed it before, it's going to be different, but it will never come out blonde completely in one shot. Not unless you kill your entire hair, totally torture it and make it very frizzy and dry because you've killed your follicles. You've killed the hair. You've stripped the color off of it. You want to use a lightener, which is highlights, and you want to just do highlights little by little, blend it into the hair slowly, a couple times, don't do it all at one shot, and then you'll lighten your hair that way. Bleach lightens hair. Hair color does not lighten hair. That's another thing. Number 8 is mix conditioner with your hair color. Anytime that you color your hair, always put conditioner inside that bowl. It's going to make the difference. You're going to be sitting with this hair color for about 30 to 45 minutes, sometimes an hour, and all that time that the hair is being stripped and being basically, damaged, your conditioner is going to help it at the same time. So that's always good. And then condition it again afterwards with a mask or something if you have. That's always good. The ones that they have inside the boxes are okay if you use box colors. And they have nice ones. I love BioSilk. That's what I've been using since the 90s. I've always used BioSilk. They have BioSilk shampoo now too, which is really good. And I love the smell of it. So you don't need very much. You just use a little bit, like palm size is what they say dime, but I have so much hair. That's not going to happen. And then I just start with my ends and I work my way up. I don't have to put it in my scalp because I have oily skin. So I use it on the ends and I just work my way up to about my ears. And that's where I stop. and I just leave it in. It's a leave-in conditioner. Also, there's one by Frida that's also really good. And there's another one by Paul Mitchell, which is also really good. And then they have some cheap ones, like argan oil and tree oil or whatever. Just experiment. Buy different ones. Mix those together too. Don't be scared. You can mix things together. You don't have to just have one brand. If one of them has a smell that you like a coconut, you want to mix that with argan oil, then mix it. You want to use a little bit of the package that you have left over from the box, then put that in a bowl, mix it together. You'd be surprised. Drop some olive oil in there. Yeah, why not? Or actual coconut oil. Do that. Number 9, condition daily. Don't just do it when you color your hair. Every day. BioSilk every day. Anytime you wash your hair. And also wash your hair with cold water to rinse if you want to keep your color. Unless you notice that you put too much color in there and you want to lighten it or get some of it out, then you do wash it. If you want to get rid of more hair color because it came out too harsh, then use dish soap. I have Dawn, but you don't have to use Dawn. Wash your hair out with that and then use hot water, and that'll strip most of the hair color out until it settles in. And number 10 is the color. Instructions on color, which is something that I've already done in the other. This is a nice little refreshing tip for you. Anytime you see the words gold or golden equals yellow or an orange, just keep that in mind, okay? Which equals red. If you don't want any kind of red in your hair, don't use anything that has the word gold in it. If you don't want to use you don't want to have any blonde or gold color in your hair, don't use anything with the word gold in it. Okay, gold equals red. Ash equals green or gray. And I don't mean green like actual green, but if you have red hair and then you use an ash color on top of it, I'm going to guarantee you that you're going to have some green tones in there. And also, don't forget that there's a difference in red hair color. There's a difference between copper and there's a difference between red. Now, if you look at The Little Mermaid, she's got red hair. If you look at Bozo the Clown, he's got orange hair. If you like copper, like a penny color, which is what I like, you can mix copper and red together. I've done that. Mix the copper and the red together and see what you get. It's going to be totally different. It's going to be like a rich sort of copper. So the mistake that I made last week was I made that color and it came out too orange. How did I fix it? I looked because I have like a box full of hair color. I was like looking crazy and I had a tiny little bit, like less than half of a tube of ion copper. It was like, I couldn't believe I even had that. So I mixed that with the 30 volume developer. Okay, came out white. It was white, perfect. And then I went to the store and I bought myself a $3 box of Clairol light golden brown. Mixed that in there. I used the whole tube with whatever conditioner, whatever developer was in the box. And I put it on my hair and I got this color that was just amazing. It's a copper, but it's a deep copper penny. It's really pretty. It's very natural looking, but away from the bright orange, reddish copper that I usually have. It's just a richer copper penny. And that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted to tone it down. Now, the more that I wash it, the more that it's going to strip the color that I put in, and the color that's underneath is going to come up, which is that orange color. But because I mixed it with the brown, it's not going to come up bright like it was before I did it, because that brown settled into my follicle, you see. So it's going to just be a lighter brown copper. It's going to be way prettier, even like a shiny penny, it's going to look perfect, which already I just washed it this morning. It looks really good. And then that's it. Basically, the only thing you have to do after that is just take care of your roots and always write down the color. Now, what I do, I keep all of my little tabs from the top part of the boxes of ion and things that I use with the number on it, like 7RR, 6RR. I mix those two together. You get those little things and then you staple them together. And this is like, so I know I've used these two together. Like today, I had to do what I used recently, which was the light golden brown, stapled that together with the, light golden brown mixed with the copper, the ion copper. So I know what came out. And then I'll just take a picture of myself and I'll edit my picture and I'll write down what I wrote, 7RR plus 6, whatever, Clairol. And then I'll keep that on my phone under my hair color folder so that I know that these are the results that I get when I use this color. So next I'll do the same when I want to do my roots if I want that to be the color. And I don't ever mess with the rest of my hair when I do the roots. I mean, I was born with strawberry blonde hair. I had strawberry blonde hair naturally, and then it just got darker. As you get older, it gets darker. But I've always had a connection with red hair. I've never been able to not keep it. I've gone everywhere on the scale of color. I've had black, I've had blonde, I've had platinum blonde, I've had brown, dark brown, light brown, highlights. One half of my head was black, the other half of my head was blonde at one point. I've done different crazy things, different styles, different, lengths, different everything, perms, whatever, you name it. I've gone there. That's why I know, just from experimenting. And then I also know that no matter what you do to your hair, what kind of mistakes that you make, you can always fix it. You can. So don't freak out or anything. And don't forget to trim. Trim your hair every month. Your hair grows half an inch a month. Even if you take your biotin or your vitamin B, and even if you take care of your hair, whatever, half an inch a month. You might get it to grow a little bit more. Some people have an inch a month growth. That's good for you. I hate your guts. Mine doesn't grow that fast. But half an inch a month is normal. What I do is I wait every 2 months and then I trim it half an inch. And I only trim it if it's really damaged on the ends. Like if it's healthy hair, then I don't mess with it. But I put my hair all the way upside down, hang my head all the way down, grab the rubber band, tie it up as tight as I can up against my scalp, and then I just take that half an inch off the ends, straight, just force my hair all the way up and then just trim it off. And that's how I do it. And that's how I do my long layers. There's other ways to do it, but like I said, I don't go to the salon anymore. I'm just so used to doing it myself that I'm fine. And it's not even just the money. It's just the fact that every time I did go these 5 times, I think only once it came out the way I really wanted it to come out. Other times it was ruined. One guy did my hair. I said I wanted chocolate brown. And he said, oh, okay. And because I wanted a nice chocolate, like I'm thinking, when I think chocolate, I think Hershey brown. It came out so dark because chocolate brown is dark. It's almost black. And I had light hair underneath. I was so surprised that he did it that way and he thought it looked great. And I wanted layers and he left it straight. This was a mall salon. Do your research. Review the hair salon person. Make sure that you get really good reviews. Ask your friends. Look around. If you're going to go, really do your search. And constantly watch what they're doing and ask, what are you putting in there? If you wanted your hair brown, make sure that you specify what color brown you want. Don't say chocolate brown like I did and think it's going to be a Hershey brown, because it won't be a Hershey brown. It'll be like it'll be just like that color from chocolate pudding, like that, like a dark, dark brown, not like a chocolate milk brown, which is what I wanted. But take a picture. Get a picture of somebody that you like on the phone. Show them, this is the color that I want. This is the exact color that I want. This is the hairstyle that I want. They're going to give you their opinions. They might say, you really don't want to cut your hair that short because, wouldn't be flattering on you. But, you stick to your guns and you say, no, this is what I want. All right. On that note, I will let you go. I hope you enjoy this. I am so glad to be back. I missed you guys so much. I really did. It's weird. What is that? On a personal note, I just wanted to let you know that these past 2 weeks that I haven't been here wasn't something that I was prepared for. Life came at me and challenged my faith. And I am not going to be the one to say, hey, you should believe in God and you should pray. I'm not going to be that girl, but I'm going to just tell you my experience, which is I do believe in God. And I do believe that your faith is tested often. Life is not always going to be perfect. Life is not going to always give you everything that you want and that you ask for. And you should ask, by the way. You should ask for things. Life is not going to always be there to help you. Life sometimes takes a nice fat dump on you, and especially when you're not ready. But you can't expect everything to go right all the time, right? You can't expect it to. If you have a great job and if you have a great partner and everything is happy, it's not going to always be that way. Just be prepared. I was not prepared for this. It caught me. It caught me by surprise, and it definitely tested my faith. But I'll tell you what, at the end and in the end, I let God, and I said, take the wheel. I trust you. Whatever it is that you want me to do, just you show me. You show me where you want me to be and what you want me to say and what you want me to share. Use me, as a vessel. And that's why I call myself a vessel, because I believe that someone out there needs to hear this. If you need to hear this, if you're going through a challenging time right now, just know that it's not going to stay that way forever. It's never going to stay that way forever. It won't ever stay good forever, but it will also never stay bad forever. So that's how I look at it. You make your happiness in this world. It's how you react to the situations that you're given that makes your character. All right? So have a good character. Have a strong character. I have faith in you. And whatever it is that you're going through, you are going to be okay. If you want to be okay. So just be okay. It really, that's all it is. Just be okay. There's solutions for everything. So on that note, again, good Lord, talking about hair and ended up with, Sunday special. So, all right. So then I'll just talk to you tomorrow for Tuesday Talks. And until then, how do we end the show? Do you remember? Because it's been so long. Do you remember? Thanks for stopping in. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. And I'll talk to you soon. God bless you. And what do we say?